Right. Mr. Eli here with Ismail over here on the other side of the camera. Okay, so first I'm going to go over just a few review things that you're going to be like, oh yeah, I remember that, and then we're going to get into the lesson. It'll just take a sec. So I can't even talk. The definition, you got it. The definition of inference. So inference is like, do you know? God, give me a high five. I was just gonna say it's using the information you know or to answer a question, right? God, you're good, Ismail. Awesome. So do you remember the two major types of questions?
Where.
So there's where, who, like who, what, where, when, why, and those are called factual. Yeah, because they're facts. If you are at Glen Lake right now, it's a fact, right? Right. There's also something called think and seek questions. Do you remember think and seek? Okay, think and seek are like, what do I think's going to happen in this story? I saw that Ismail was riding his bike, but I haven't read all the story. Maybe Ismail rides his bike to school. That would be like a think and seek question. I'd be thinking that this might happen, right? Okay, so as you remember, there are three types. I'll hold it up for you. I can find it. Oh my goodness. Okay, three types. There's factual, think and seek. What's the first think and seek? Big picture. So that's big, like what's the main idea of the story, right? Next one? Predicting. Predicting is like, what happened next? Exactly. And
Clarifying.
do you remember what clarifying is?
Yeah, like clear.
Clear, making it clear. Are we sure this happened? Right. Exactly. So you've already learned the steps of the infer strategy to answer big picture questions. Today we're going to talk about the second one, the predicting questions, okay? So your job today is to just listen carefully, take some notes, which I'll show you, participate in the discussion, like I said, and later we'll go over an activity and practice it together. Make sense? Cool. So you already told me, but just tell me one more time, what is predicting? Like a predicting question.
A predicting question is like in the middle of the story, like what's going to happen next.
What's going to happen next? Requires you to make a guess, right? Or a forecast about what will happen in the future, which is the same thing as what will happen next. So it says require you to use the information you have read to do that, right? Right?
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. So predicting questions, you're right, is making a guess. So what do you think predicting questions might be? Like, what's an example of one?
Prediction question, like what's gonna happen next?
Look at what
will happen?
you said the exact perfect one on my example. Exactly. What might happen next? What's most likely? What will the main character do next? So I see a lot of words like next or future or what will happen, right? So it's guessing, it's saying what will happen, it's making a prediction in moving forward. That's why it's a predicting question. You're right. So these are some examples of predicting questions. In addition, they require you to base your forecast or prediction on information you have read, and that is you must base your prediction on like a clue or something that you've read, right? You're not just going to say, he bought candy. Well, if he's not at the candy store, is that a good predicting question? No, because you haven't read the text, right? So these think and seek questions are a bit different from predicting questions you've been asking for the self-questioning strategy. These predicting questions require you to base your guess on the forecast of the information, right? But there wasn't necessarily a correct prediction before. So in fact, you may not have found the answer to the question or even a hint to what the answer might be in the passage. In the case of predicting questions that someone else is asking you, there is a correct prediction, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So, cue card 14. Oh, yeah, it's right here. So, here are the examples of the predicting questions, which we just went over, like what will happen next. And so, is there any predicting questions that you've seen before? I mean, and it could be just like this, but like on a test. Like, you're taking MCAs coming up. Do you think you'll see some predicting questions on there for some of your readings?
Like, what do you think is going to happen to him
Yeah, whoever the character is, right? You don't know, but what do you think is going to happen to him next or at the end of the story, right? You might get some of those on your MCA test, so that makes sense. So you want to be prepared and be like, oh, yeah, that's a predicting question. Let me use that information that I remember, okay? So you can usually recognize a predicting question if it has some certain keywords, right? Some of those keywords we just went over, but will you read them for me?
Next, future, happen, road, down the road, and ending effects.
You got it. So remember, good readers know how to predict what's going to happen next after they have read something. You're good detectives, right? You're looking for clues to help you make accurate predictions. So this helps to keep your mind active while you're reading, and as a result, you can better understand what you're reading, right? Okay, so next, good. When you make a prediction in your mind, you have to make sure that it's a complete statement. What's a complete statement? I don't remember. Not a full paragraph, close, but a complete statement has to have two things. Has to have a
Subject and a predicate.
close subject and a verb. So the subject is the person or the thing, and they are doing something, which is the verb, right? Perfect. So also you may have to make sure that it is related, the question's related to the clues. That means if your question asks you to predict something, like what the character will do in his free time, and you, Ismail, see a clue that he is excited about reading his novel, you might say, I would guess that he's going to read his novel, right? Because that's what the clues were telling you. You wouldn't predict that he's going to go play basketball if he's talking about reading a book, would you? No, because that doesn't make any sense at all, right? Right. So you need to use those complete thoughts and stuff. So this is a complete thought, has a subject and verb. We just said it's related, and what does it also do? Right. It can't just be like a statement that you made up or something. It's got to answer the question. So let's go over the infer steps with predicting questions, okay? So the infer steps, for the first step, you will read the question and think about them. So I'm going to give you, where is it? Here is the reading we're going to do, and these are the questions that go with it. So first, we're going to look at the questions, okay? So, what's the first thing an I say?
Interact with the questions on the passage.
Perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to interact with the questions on there. So the first thing we're going to do is read the whole question. Why do you think we should read the whole question and not just the beginning of it?
If you read the beginning, you're not going to understand anything.
Exactly. You're not going to know the whole question, right? So you got to read the whole question to understand. Exactly. So for the note step, you will decide what kind of question it is, and you'll write a code letter next to it. If we're talking about predicting questions, what letter do you think you'd write next to it? You got it. P for predicting. You know it. So as you read through, be sure to keep the predicting question in mind and also look for clues specifically related to the question and prediction you will make. These clues might be keywords in the question and words in the passage that match up. For example, if the question asks what mountain you think the person will climb next, you might look for what? Names of what?
Names of the mountains.
Names of the mountains, exactly. Yeah, you could look for the names of the mountains or names of mountains the person has already climbed. So remember to read the whole passage and find all the clues before you answer any of the questions. So why is reading the whole passage, the whole reading, why is reading the whole reading more important? Yeah.
Because if you don't read anything, you're not going to understand the question.
You're not going to understand the question, but what if you only read half of the story?
Half of the other half, like.
Are you going to know how it?
You're not going to know it.
Exactly. You're not really going to know the main idea of the story. You might think you do, but you don't have the ending or any of it, right? So, exactly. So, so let's go down the questions. Will you read the question, the first question, and we're going to think if that's a predicting question or not. What's the first question say?
What is the next most likely event to happen after the end of this passage?
What do you think? Is that a predicting question? Because why? What keywords?
Because it says what is next.
What happens next? So what are you going to put next to it?
A P.
Awesome. Just right over here. Just write a big P. Let's do the next one. Just
How
read.
this describes the main idea of this passage.
Main idea. So what kind of question is that?
Like
Big,
big
picture.
Big, yeah.
So what letter you think would put for big picture?
B.
B. Perfect. So put a B next to it. Keep going.
What did Randy put on the conveyor belt first?
So,
P.
well, what did he put on first? I understand why you might want to say P, but there's one more. There's an F for factual. What did he put on first? He put on something first. Is it a fact that I put this on? Yeah, so that's an F. You're right, it's not a big picture question, and so it kind of is like a predicting because it says, what did he do first? So you're kind of predicting, but it is factual. Okay, go to the next one.
What will likely happen if Randy refuses to cooperate with the security people?
So what will likely happen is not, well, it kind of is a B, but it's a P, yeah, because it's saying what will likely happen, which is kind of saying what's going to happen next, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Last one.
The next time Randy buys a strange device on a chip, he'll probably. Oh, that's a P.
He will probably, exactly, because you're predicting what he's going to do next. You got it. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to read the passage and we're going to look for clues in the passage to help answer these questions, okay? So what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to, watch this. Let's go here, 91. Oh, man. So we'll turn this on, and then as you read, I'm going to help, and we're going to underline the clues, okay? Mm-hmm. So let's get a marker. Okay. So you start reading, and if you think you see something important that you want me to underline, stop and say, Mr. Eli, underline this, okay? Okay, go ahead.
Randy Olson bought a timer for racing pigeons the last time he went to Oregon. It was a strange looking metal device. If you used it to measure the time it takes for a homing pigeon to fly a certain distance, you had to wind it up like a clock. When the pigeon landed on the timer, it pressed a plunger down and stopped the timer. Okay, stop. What is important about the first thing? Who's the guy? Who's the? Randy. Okay, so we've got Randy. Let's underline that. And what are they talking about? That he bought a timer. Okay. A timer for racing pigeons. Okay, so he's got a timer for racing pigeons, and what about the timer? It was a strange looking metal device. So we know it's a strange looking metal device timer that Randy bought. Yeah. It tells a little bit about how it works, but is that super important right now? No. Okay, let's keep going. Randy took his new toy to the that one. To the airport. You want me to underline that one? Yeah. Okay, so Randy, we'll just say took his new toy to the airport. So we know he's at the airport now, right? Okay. The airport to get on the plane back to Pittsburgh. Okay. That one. So you think Pittsburgh too, maybe? Yeah. So now we know where he's going. The timer was in his carry-on luggage. Okay. That one. You think because he was carrying it on, it wasn't in, okay. When Randy got to the security gate, he put his laptop computer on the counter. Okay, so he put his laptop on the conveyor belt. So you know that's that thing that pulls your bag through? Yeah, okay, keep going. On the conveyor belt. Then he put the bag with the timer on the belt. Okay. When the bag came on the x-ray screen, an alarm went off. Okay, so X-ray. So he took his laptop, let's see, when Randy went to security, he put his laptop computer on the belt. Did he take the timer out of the bag, or did he put the whole bag on there? He put the whole bag on. Okay, so he put a bag with a timer on the belt, and the x-ray screen, and the alarm went off. Okay, keep going. Lots of people in uniforms came to the security gate. Lots of people. Oh, no. In uniforms. I moved it so it, Here, we'll leave it like that for a second. So uniform guys, you just say, so lots of people in uniforms came because the alarm went off, right? Okay. He asked all the other passengers to walk slowly to a different gate. When the bag with the timer came out of the x-ray machine, a man opened the bag The man opened the bag.
Okay, so one of these uniformed guys, man, opened the bag and looked.
Man opened the bag and looked at the pigeon timer. It was ticking. It looked like a bomb. A bomb.
Okay, so what's happening now is what? Randy went to go on a plane and he had his what?
He had his racing pigeon.
Right, and it set off what?
It set off the timer and
Nope, set off the
alarm went off.
right. And who came running?
Lots of people.
Lots of
people in uniform.
Yep, lots of security guys came running, and they opened up the bag, and what did they see?
It looked a pigeon timer.
But what did it look like?
A bomb.
Okay, so I know those green lines are kind of in the way, so we just have this little last paragraph. Let's go through this, okay?
Good afternoon. Excuse the interruption.
We'll wait 1 second.
Those individuals that are doing Girls on the Run, that is 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade
Thank
classes
you for your patience.
that
We
have
have
Girls on the Run
an
kids.
announcement.
You are meeting in the cafeteria today, right after school at 3:30.
Just girls on the run.
Again,
So
3rd,
that's not you.
4th, 5th grade classes that have Girls on the Run kids should meet in the cafeteria today at 3:30. Thank you.
All right, perfect. So go ahead.
What is that thing? He asked Randy. It's a pigeon timer. What is that thing?
Okay, so the guy's asking. I'm not going to underline because there's a bunch of lines on the board, but keep going.
What is that thing? He asked Randy. It's a pigeon timer. Randy replied, "Yeah, right," said the security guy. "Please come this way." Two of the men stood on either side of Randy. Some other men carried his bag and the pigeon timer into a different room. He looked at his watch. His plane would be boarding in 10 minutes.
So what's the first thing that you might think might happen to Randy? If he's in a security room, he looks at his watch, he's got 10 minutes till his flight.
That he'll get late too.
He might be late for his flight, right?
Or he might miss it.
Or he might miss his flight. That would be a great predicting question. So now we have some clues, we have some ideas, right? So now what are we going to do?
Answer the question.
Exactly. We're going to answer the question. So we're going to go back and you read the question and we're going to use the clues that we had together to work our way through the question, okay? So what's the first one say?
What is the next most likely event to happen after the end of this passage?
Okay, what does A say?
The man will ask Randy a lot of questions.
Okay.
Randy will get on his phone. Is the first one.
Okay.
Randy will call his lawyer. Randy will call his travel agent.
Okay, do you think he's going to call a travel agent? Are they talking about calling anyone? Do you think he's going to call a lawyer? Or are they talking about calling a lawyer? So we've got those two done. What are our other two?
Randy will get on his plane. The men will ask Randy a lot of questions.
Okay, well, Randy is now in a room with a bunch of dudes, right? Bunch of security dudes. When the story ends.
Yeah.
Do you think that he's just going to go and get on his plane, or do you think all these dudes are going to ask him?
Questions.
Because they're going to wonder what
What the thing
is, right? Because do they know that it's a bird pigeon timer? No. Okay, so circle that answer. And we're going to write, the men will ask Randy a bunch of questions. Awesome. Let's go to the next one.
What best describes the main idea of this passage?
Okay, so big picture, what's the main idea? Let's go through them.
Airport security people can be pretty rude. The sport of pigeon racing depends on special timer. Randy did not think ahead when he packed the pigeon timer. People like Randy should not travel by.
What would be your first guess of which sounds the best?
C.
Which is what?
Randy did not think ahead when he packed the pigeon timer.
Right. Did he think that, these guys might think or not know what this is, right?
Yeah.
No. But that is the right one because it fits the best, right? So C is going to be your answer. Nice job. 3 more and we'll be all done.
What did Randy put on the
Conveyor.
belt first?
Okay, so remember, thinking back, yep, you can even use your reading. Go back and look. What was the first thing he put on there?
The A. His carry on circles.
Ooh, keep going, keep looking.
Wait,
It says,
oh, his laptop computer.
you got it. He did put his carry-on case, but which one came
His
first?
laptop.
The laptop computer. I'm really happy, Ismail, you went back and you looked and you realized that why not? Look back in your reading right there and figure out the answer. That's exactly why we found those clues in the first place. Okay, next one.
What will likely happen if Randy refuses to cooperate with the security people?
So remember, this is a predicting. What do you think would happen to Randy if he did not play nice with those
He
security
would go to
guys?
jail or, like,
But let's read the answers first. So let's see which one fits.
Randy will miss his plane. The security people will torture Randy. Randy will go to jail. Randy will call his lawyer.
Okay, so is he going to call the lawyer?
Either B or C.
And B or C or which ones?
Security people will torture Randy. Randy will go to jail.
Hold on, think about this. Are they going to torture him right away? He's a kid.
Oh.
What's the
Randy
first
will
thing?
miss his plane.
The first thing, you're right, because he might, if Randy is a big turkey butt or whatever.
I didn't know he was a kid.
Right. Well, does it say, you know what?
No,
It doesn't say he's a kid. Nice, thank you. I just made that up. So, does that make sense, though? That the first thing's going to happen is he'll miss his plane. Then he might go to jail. We don't know. Okay, last one.
Then
Go ahead.
the next time Randy buys a strange device on a chip, he will probably take it out of his bag before it goes through the X-ray machine. Send it in the mail. Give it to someone else to carry. Take it apart into little pieces.
Which one do you think is the best one? A, which is what?
Take it out of his bag before it goes through.
Because then the security guys can what?
Would not find out.
Yeah, well, they know what it is, right? And then Randy can say, that's just a pigeon timer, not a bomb. Don't worry, plane security, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so which one are you going to circle? A. Perfect. Okay. Not too hard, right? And so does that help you with kind of predicting a little bit? You're like, what'll happen next? And you go back and you look for those clues and then you go forward. Give me some. Thank you so much for your help today, Ismail. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Dr. C.